It's another Raw video from your boy Draft Raw Authentic. And if you could tell by the title, this is part 2 of the quarterback prospects of the 2018 NFL Draft. Now, recently, as I was uploading part 1, I was looking at my other videos, and I see a dislike. My first dislike on one of my vids. And it was the Josh Allen video that I did. Now, like I said, like I always say in all my videos, if you don't like what I have to say, now you can dislike, that's cool. But if you don't like what I have to say, then just comment. Why dislike the video? Why dislike a video and then run away? Comment. Say what you gotta say. Tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me what I should do better. Don't run away, people. Come on now. That's not right. Don't be scared. I'm not going to come after you. I'm not like that. I just want to debate. If there was something that you didn't like what I had to say about Josh Allen, just comment. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me if my video is stupid. Whatever. But don't just dislike and run away. Anyway, this is not about that video. This is not about Josh Allen. This is about part 2 for the other quarterback prospects of the 2018 NFL Draft. And like I said earlier, this is a raw video, so there will be no edits. Anyway, let's get into the first name on my list, and that is Luke Falk. Now, Luke Falk, 6'4", 210 pounds. This is a quarterback from Washington State that I am up and down on a little bit. And honestly, I'm more down on him than I am up. And the problem that I have with Luke Falk is that he seems like he's just a system quarterback. He doesn't have a big arm. And his big numbers, the accuracy, the completion percentage, seems like it just come from the system. I see him make a bunch of throws that are just kind of short, quick get open throws. There's not a lot of driving the ball down the field when it comes to him, or at least on a consistent basis. And he's a guy that, gets talked up because he's like a 3 or 4 year starter, I guess. I didn't read all into that. I just looked at what he did this year, not just the stats, but just, the game tape. And I just see a guy that just, I don't know. It's just so hard to even tell with him. But he's a guy that gets talked about so much to being a person that could get drafted within the second round. And honestly, I don't think he's worth that second round pick. To me, there's some other quarterbacks that I have on this list that should be worth that pick. But Luke Falk, I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't know what else to say about him. It's just, there's not a lot for me to like about him. But what he does have is he's a guy that I can trust being a backup quarterback. And if my guy gets hurt, I can trust him if you have all the pieces around him to actually do good. He's one of those guys that he will need a running game. He will need multiple weapons. He will need a solid defense just to be good in the league. Reminds me of like Josh McCown, one of those type of quarterbacks, and the Matt Castle. I was about to say Hasselbeck. Even Matt Hasselbeck and the Jake Delhomme type quarterbacks. Just guys that they can play pretty well in the league, but they're not going to be the franchise guy. So anyway, let's get to the next name on this list, and that is Kurt Benkert from Virginia. Now, Kurt Benkert has probably the highest upside that I've seen from all of these so-called late-round quarterbacks. He's a guy that, if he gets drafted in the second round, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think he should be drafted in the second round. He's smart. He's got a good arm. He's got solid accuracy. He's a guy that has led Virginia to some pretty good, impressive wins. And that Virginia team is very underrated. Now, I want to get off topic about Virginia, but I actually have a cousin that has entered the NFL draft that played at Virginia. And if you're a fan of Virginia, or you just kind of know NFL draft prospects, then you will know this name. My cousin, middle linebacker, Micah Kiser. Yes, I'm going to throw his name out there. Recently, I've actually when I started this YouTube page, I thought about, well, maybe I should get an interview. So I haven't asked him yet, but I will ask him if I could interview him. I'm going to try to do that within like the next 3 weeks. So you will see that coming up next. You will see that video of me and him talking, an interview. If I don't get him, then I'll just say it. But basically, when I start talking about the linebackers of the NFL draft, then we'll see if I can get him on the phone and we can have a conversation and we can have an interview going. And I think it'll be pretty nice and pretty cool for you fans out there to see what he got to say and see what he got to say about not only just life, but the NFL draft process. And maybe we can get a little bit of info of what team may be looking at him. Anyway, Kurt Benkert, just going back to him, I really like this dude. Just looking at my notes, he's probably, if he doesn't really make it as a franchise guy, he's probably the best backup that you're going to get from this draft. And he reminds me of, not that he reminds me of Kirk Cousins, but he's one of those guys that could be a Kirk Cousins-like, where if he sits behind or he's in the league for like 2 or 3 years and then he gets a chance to start, he could be really good in the league. But then at the same time, he could be the next Brian Hoyer, a guy that's more of just a backup, and when he finally does get a chance, could be years down the road, and you know, he could be good, he could be bad, but we don't know. But I really do like Kurt Benkert from Virginia. Anyway, the next name on the list is Riley Ferguson. Like I said, people, if I keep looking down, I'm looking at my notes right now, so don't worry about me, just keep doing this, all right? Anyway, Riley Ferguson is the next person on the list. He is the biggest underrated prospect in this draft. He's 6'4", he's 210. The size do kind of concern me. When a quarterback, to me, is under 220 pounds, it concerns me because they could get injured a little bit easier than most other quarterbacks. And when Riley has very unique tools, could be the next great late round quarterback, but he just could be just a regular quarterback that doesn't amount to much. He's a guy that I like a lot because he's not afraid to throw the ball. And his volume of throws that he had at Memphis is very intriguing because he has processed throwing the ball so much that going into the NFL, it should be just second nature to him. I liked him a lot, and the biggest reason I liked him a lot because there's a receiver, Anthony Miller, who I named in my wide receiver prospects of the draft. Please check out that video, like, share, subscribe. But anyway, he's a guy, when I was watching him and I saw Riley Ferguson and the type of throws he was actually making to other players, I was just like, wow, this guy's pretty good. I need to know more about him. And he's a pretty good, solid quarterback. I got to give him credit. The only thing is that with the high volume of throws and everything, it's probably going to take him a while to learn an NFL system. Maybe it doesn't. Sometimes guys are just way smarter than that. And honestly, you deal with what you have to deal with in college, whether if you run a spread system or a pro-style system. You just deal with it. And if you're smart enough, then when you get to the NFL, it should be no biggie. So we'll see about that. Anyway, the next name on the list, and I have these 2 last names on the list. These guys I actually just watched today. So it's pretty cool, but I said I needed to watch a little bit more of guys that were in the draft. Not that I didn't watch a lot of guys, but I just needed to get a better understanding of some other guys that were in the draft. And, man, these 2 were really good. Now, there are 2 other names, actually 3 other names that I'm going to name, but I'm not going to go into them. And I'm going to just put their names out there. What is it? Tanner Lee from Nebraska. I wasn't a big fan of him. His accuracy is not as good. He's got some athleticism, and he doesn't really have a strong arm. It's like an okay arm. I know he played good at the Senior Bowl, but I just don't see it. Mike White from Western Kentucky, another player that probably the same thing as like Tanner Lee, just I don't know. And then there's another quarterback from Richmond named Kyle Lueta, something like that. All the 3 of these guys played at the Senior Bowl, and I know they're getting some hype because of how good they did at the Senior Bowl, but it's just the Senior Bowl. I'm not going to put too much stock behind it. When I see them and what they've done in college, just watching some tape, I didn't see a lot of great arm strength. I didn't see the best accuracy. I didn't see the best decision making. These guys were kind of just average. Yeah, they put up some numbers because they were pretty solid and they made some pretty solid throws, but there was nothing that really popped off on tape to me. So I just want to put those three names out there so I won't forget them. So if anybody that goes into the comment section and say, well, what about this guy, this guy, this guy? I just put them out there and told you what I thought about them. If you don't like what I have to say, then just comment and we can debate about it. And share the video so other people can join the debate. Anyway, the next name on the list is Chase Linton. I just watched him from Marshall. He's about 6'5", about 242 pounds. This guy has pretty nice arm strength and solid accuracy and nice touch on his accuracy. His biggest problem is that he needs better mechanics, and sometimes he can be a little bit erratic because of his footwork. I've said it in like previous videos, the Josh Allen video, and the first part, that about having a nice base and throwing from your core. And that nice base does deal with your footwork. And if your footwork is off, like how Josh Allen's be a lot of times, then you're not going to throw great accuracy. Also, what I had is that he has a really, really fast release, which I really, really like. But sometimes that causes him to throw the ball a little too early, which doesn't make any sense a little bit. But sometimes where he's throwing to and him throwing too early, it causes for overthrows sometimes, or kind of throwing. It just calls for some throws to be a little erratic. But the one thing that was pretty cool about him is that every year that he played 3 years, he had 60% completion every single year. So he's a 60% completion percentage guy, which, like I said, it's really, really good. So that's a guy that, I'm a little up and down on, but he has some talent. And if he gets drafted in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, and you're a team that needs a quarterback or a backup quarterback, I'm going to just say, you got someone that's pretty nice that could become pretty solid in the league. Anyway, last name on my list is Logan Woodside from Toledo. He has quick feet. He has solid athleticism. He kind of actually throws like Matt Ryan. The way he just kind of moves and throws is exactly like Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. He's got pretty underrated arm strength. His arm strength is actually pretty darn good. Versus Miami, he just let it rip. And I mean, he let it rip. That arm strength is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty mesmerizing. Just to see the throws that he made versus Miami was just like, wow. At one point during the season, he actually had 19 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Now this year he finished with 28 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So he threw about 6 more interceptions, but he threw about 9 more touchdowns, which it doesn't look as good, and which probably is one of the reasons why he's dropping down and not going up. But he has some underrated qualities about him that could make him into a good quarterback when he gets into this league. In 2016, the year before, which I actually liked that year, he had 45 touchdowns and only 9 picks. I really, really liked that year because 45 touchdowns is pretty good. Now, he probably lost some weapons. I believe Michael Roberts from Toledo, tight end, came into the draft. I believe Kareem Hunt, running back, came into the draft. So he lost some weapons. So that's why the numbers are probably down this year. And which is another reason why, he's not a top-rated quarterback, because he should still be able to be pretty good without all the great weapons. But I saw a lot of drop passes and stuff like that. And I know I said it, with Josh Allen, but still, the thing is, Josh Allen had 56%. This dude has 64.2% completion in this year. And last year, he was at 69.1%. So when he had the weapons, he had almost 70% completion. The other great thing about him is that career-wise, he's a 65% career-wise. So, like I said, he's an underrated guy, and coming into the league, he should be pretty darn good. 93 touchdowns, only 25 picks. He did play his sophomore year, but I think the year after that, I think he got hurt, so he didn't get to play. So he played the last 2 years to prove that he can be a good quarterback in this league. And honestly, he probably should have came out last year, but I'm guessing he wasn't getting a lot of people looking at him. So he decided to come back, and he still did pretty good. But anyway, that was the last name on my list. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the video and you like this video, please subscribe. Hit that like button. If you don't like what I had to say about a certain prospect, or just like what I had said in general, or think that I need to work on something when it comes to my videos, please comment so we can debate on it. And please share the video so other people can join the debate. Sorry about that. So other people can join the debate, and we can get things kicked off and going. Thank you for watching this video. I hope y'all enjoy this journey as much as I will. Thank you and goodbye.